Let's do a test round, just because I'm curious to see how it runs with no drinking.
Okay. Lord Cummings.
Wait, hold on. I'm the brash Lord Cummings. Who are the other two extraordinary gentlemen at the table?
I am
Your name and everything?
He could be,
sweet.
you could be Baron Humble if you want. You don't.
General Von Hedenshire Esquire the Third.
Oh, that's gonna be hard to fucking remember.
I'm calling the third.
You can call me Butch for short.
What was that? That was General Von Hedenshire Esquire the Third.
Esquire the Third, yes. So I third the Esquire, that'd be correct, yes. Or Butch. It's a family name.
Butch is a family name?
Yes.
Okay.
Or you take offense to the family name, good sir?
Nothing. I'm thirsty.
I suggest you enjoy your Chianti. It's rather nice.
Excuse me, it's Chianti.
In the Butch household, we pronounce it Chianti. It's the old way. Back before King Louis was of France.
Isn't he the one who cut off all the heads of the peasants? Or is he the one who banged all the mistresses?
Is there a difference?
I suppose not.
Right you are. Feel like I need a little bit of snuff for this.
Oh, Cobalt. He should have been out here.
He's finished the boss fight.
Man, everyone's bailing tonight.
I know.
He said he's
It's
finishing
also,
the boss fight.
everyone's kind of tired, too.
Everyone's just
Yeah.
tired. It's been a long week for everybody.
Yep.
It's only Wednesday.
It's only fucking Wednesday.
Yeah, my week's starting, so... what is your name, good sir?
Are we doing this all
What story? Yeah.
No.
What story you come to the table?
And do you need booze? I figured you wouldn't drink, Kobold.
I don't know how this game
Even
works.
though you're supposed,
give me-
it's a drinking game, so you're supposed to have something to drink. But I know that's not gonna happen.
You could drink rancid milk.
With some friends all night, so I'd rather just
Yeah.
In about a half hour as well.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
that gives us perfect
Well,
time.
we can do a little 30-minute let's play. That's no
just
problem.
gonna play a little bit. That's all.
Okay, Kobold, the premise is we are snotty noblemen. Or dukes or barons
I understand.
from England or perhaps someplace else. Not
It
France.
doesn't really
though.
matter. It could be
Not France.
fictional
No,
things.
no,
It
no,
doesn't
no, no,
really
no,
matter.
no. This takes place in the real world where fiction is often the same. So you are a nobleman. You could also be like a duke, or you can be an archbishop, a general. It doesn't matter. Just there has
I'm
to
the
be some
brash
shape.
Lord Cummings.
Yes.
He's General Von what?
Hedenshire,
Hedenshire Esquire the Third
the Third Esquire
slash Butch.
/ Butch. It's a family name. Galen has to come up with a silly name, or this is going to suck. So the point is, we go around telling stories. Ezra was the one that poured drinks, so we have drinks in front of us, and you're being...
Hey,
bitched
Ezra.
out.
2 fingers.
No. It's. I didn't do 2 fingers. I did a lot. That's like 3.
I think that's the point that Galen is making here. Is you should have done two.
I pour
two
more.
Fingers.
No, I shouldn't have. It's a drinking game. Ideally, we'd have 2 more glasses, but we don't.
You get why I'm being a dick.
So, Ezra poured the drink, so the person on his right would start off with the story. You come off with the story. Ezra will ask you a question from this little book. You want like page 33 or so.
Okay.
Or it might be 37. They have a whole list of things, or you can come up with one off the top of your head. At which point, it will be your turn to regale the tale around the table of your exploits and adventures.
I don't need this.
Perfect.
Well, as
Let's go.
ladies, Charles Worthy the Third knows.
Charlesworthy?
Yes, it's a family name.
99.
See, my grandfather was named Charles.
We'll try not to have too much fun.
His dog was named Worthy, so they gave me that name.
That's what I mean.
My father didn't like me
I
very
need to
much.
be good at this game, Kobold. And what about you, Galen?
I know I'm going to be the worst at this game, so just bear with me.
Just be Baron Humble.
Come now.
Baron. No.
Come now, old chap.
You could be Baron Humper.
Doesn't take too much work. How will you be able to rub elbows with the high end of society if you can't even brag about your name?
It's really hard because I don't know many
Harumph.
rich nobleman names.
Just make
When
something
I
that
think
doesn't
of something,
Make something up.
My
exactly. I don't know the hysterics of names.
My
well
name
enough
is
to make
Pleiades
use an
Charlesworthy
actor's
III. I think that you can come up with something, my friend.
Yes.
Just use the last name of someone you know.
Yeah.
You're a history
I'm trying to
buff,
think.
I've heard, my friend. Why don't you take two historical figures' names and put them together? That could perhaps work.
Making shit up on the spot's harder for
You
me.
could be King Louis Steve. Henry Louis Henry. Those are good double names.
Well, stop taking the good ones, baby. Yeah. No.
Pick one.
Let's see.
We have... time is of the essence, my good
Lord September, Lord Live, Lord
Just think.
Vegeta. I'm looking at things around the room.
I know.
Lord Light.
Come on.
I like how Lord Vegeta. I like it.
Nah.
Lord Sergey Vegeta. Congratulations, you're Spanish.
Sergey Vegeta. Yeah.
Yeah, Sergey.
Vegeta.
No, they have Lord
Nah.
Sergey
Let the man
Duke.
tell us his
Lord
name. Go.
Gorstov. God damn, Gorstov.
Lord Olgorstov. Got it.
Lord Orgostov. Ogorstov. There we go.
Oh, go stuff. Now
Ogorstov.
let's hear your snooty accent.
He doesn't have one.
He's got to work
I
on it.
suck at accents.
He's been with the common folk for too long.
I have many stories about the common folk, by the way. Noble men.
Yes, we're also interested in what they do.
What the
Galen?
commoners do. Ugh.
Can I
I
give you a
already need a
suggestion?
drink.
To do a snooty accent, breathe out through your nose and inhale through your ass. So,
All right, who starts this story thing off though? This is do I?
yes.
Okay, well, I have to give the.
Well,
cue
let's
to
go
him.
to the book. And let's reference
No,
the
we don't need the
tome.
book because I'm the one who chooses. Correct?
Oh, did you already choose?
So,
No, I'm about to.
premise, since Galen never did an official introduction,
It's an actual play.
It's an actual play of what game, Joe?
of Baron Munchausen. Now, in this tale, we all pretend to be snooty aristocrats sitting around at some finery establishment, drinking and telling tales of revelry and adventure, and we are trying to one-up one another in this. It's all supposed to be good fun and silly entertainment.
And the nice thing about this game is when you're drinking in the game, you're also drinking in real life.
An excellent plus there.
So as a hunter, Lord Cummings, that's why it's called the Brash Young Lord, because he's interested in tales of hunting, and he would love to hear the tale of how Lord, what was it, Lord or Duke? I can't remember.
Well, perhaps we should regale everyone with a
Charlesworthy?
name again.
Yes, Lord Pleiades Charlesworthy III.
Lord Charlesworthy needs to tell us the tale of how he hunted the rogue silverback Kilimanjaro in the jungles of Argentina.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I would love to hear this story.
This story. Well, you see, our story begins in an aristocratic setting such as this. You see, my father never loved me very much. He named me half of my name after a dog, after all. Now, owing to this, I was always trying to impress old Pop. So, when he said that he wanted that silverback's pelt after watching a National Geographic, I knew what I had to do. Now, I arrived in Argentina on a brisk September evening. And during the...
Keep it around 5 minutes. It's supposed to be short.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't realize that we...
3 hours later, and so I left the field, into the jungle.
Very well, then I'll only regale you with the best details of it, the actual moments, the last moments of its life. You see, after finding the beast, I was unable to take it down with 7 different rounds. So I decided that the only course left to me was to wrestle it to the ground with a combat knife. Now, I don't know if you've ever been hand-to-hand with a gorilla.
Oh, I've heard this story. Tell me, I remember, I don't remember all the details, but I do remember that your knife broke.
Ah, yes. Indeed it did, good sir. My knife broke off in its in the creature's jugular. However, it was still alive for a good 5 minutes, struggling. I saw the end as its paws gripped around my neck. However, at the last moment, it looked at me in the eyes, and I saw something that I have never seen before in my maids' and servants' eyes. I saw intelligence.
Good God, man. Legitimate intelligence?
I saw something beyond simple animalistic fear. And as we looked into each other's eyes, it realized that its life was meaningless compared to mine, and let me live.
Well, he died, correct?
Yeah, well,
you did break the knife off in his jugular.
He was going to die either way.
Oh, but he allowed you to live. He could have killed you
live.
as well.
He could have killed me as well. Such a beast is rare in the world.
Nothing like the servants which do our laundry and polish my shoes.
Indeed. I've never seen such cunning as well. The rest of the tale would inform you as to the true cunning of the beast as I hunted it. However, that is for another time. Now, this tale, however, pales by comparison of the tale that I've heard you tell before. Well, I apologize. This is my first time meeting you, good sir. What was your name again?
That was General von Henschmith,
Well,
the Third Esquire.
So, if you can't think of anything, there's a list in the book, too.
I'll be fine. So, General, tell me...
I thought we could call you by
tell me the
Butch.
tale...
Or Butch, it's
Thank
a
you,
family
good sir.
name.
Okay, General Butch, if you'll allow me. Tell me the tale of, say, as a general,
Does he have to give you a
the
coin?
time that you managed to save 20 whole people, carrying them off with your bare hands as your carrier ship sank in the South Pacific.
Well,
War tales are my favorite,
they
after all.
are.
Poppy was a general himself.
You see, I had unfortunately the good misfortune of smashing my hand with a hammer earlier. My hand had swollen so great in size that it covered the size of a table. Very impressive, very detailed. I'd never recommend hitting your hand with a hammer in that such a fashion.
Indeed.
Yes. And so as the sail set upon us in the South Seas by nasty pirates, because, they are all out there, put cannon fire to the ship, and alas, my incumbent, that...
Speaking of lasses, wasn't the pirate in that particular case Red Mary known for her fiendish appetite?
Oh, fiendish it was, for the souls and flesh of men, indeed. You know your history, good sir. This is quite excellent. So Red Mary, broadsides, us with a hail of cannon fire. It was like hell itself arose from those cannons, thunderous and claps and all sorts of nasty smoke and brimstone, and our ship began to sink. Now Red Mary had boarded the ship, and fortunately for us, my incomparable incumbent, second in command, perished as she ravaged him both physically and mentally. She was quite an abusive woman. However, I, being so fortunate and having a good strong left hand that is now swollen the size of a table, went up to the mistress and gave her a good round smack on the backside.
Now, I on this note, I've heard that you married this woman later in life. Well, how did that affect this chance meeting, set the tone for your relationship?
Well, it did.
How did it turn into a marriage?
Well, to be fair, she'd never met a man that had the confidence or swagger to approach in such a fashion. And as soon as she turned around behind her, seeing me standing proper and bushy and stern with my big swollen hand, she immediately fell in love with me there, thinking that other parts of me might have swelled just as much.
A truly
Needless to say, she was not wrong.
Well done, good sir.
And by marrying the wench on the spot, with her heathen pastor. We must make accommodations for true love. She was rather buxom. I managed not only to save the 20 remaining men on my crew, but bring at least a little peace and happiness to my own heart.
Yes, I heard that.
Well done, Joe.
Yes, well done.
Butch.
Well done, Butch. A story of true love.
Yes. Upon
Now,
the
I've
sea.
not met the gentleman on my right here. Forgive me, I've heard rumors, though. What was your name again, sir?
Lord Gostoff.
Gostoff, yes, that's right. And Lord Gostoff, I heard that you had an interesting tale of your exploits in the darkest of Africa. But most importantly is that there's a race of pygmy people from the Yumba Yumba, and they worship you as a god. Do tell about this thing.
That is a fantastic story. As you know, I do live amongst my servants as peasants, and I enjoy their lifestyles. And I wanted to explore more and live a life of hardship. So, you know, the only place to really do that is in Africa. That's what all the great novels and books tell me, anyway. So I went up and I flew to Africa on a thing called a plane. I don't know if they
No, they do not.
It's a newfangled invention. You're on the next generation. American, I believe.
Now, I heard rumors that this was this
Chasing
this
that
thing was not a what was you called again?
a plane.
Yes, I heard that it was a three-winged beast with the head of a lion. Is that true?
It was true. It is true. But it's not as you think. It is not a real beast. It is painted as a beast with mechanical arms that this madman has made. He wanted to make it fly and soar to scare the people below. He was a little insane. But he made a wonderful contraption that flew me through the sky.
I feel like we should continue onward to the main story. Personally, I'm interested to hear about how he responded once he realized that the Yumba Yumba tribe were called pygmies ironically.
The Yumba Yumba tribe?
Yes, that's...
The tribe that worships you as a god, my good son.
Oh,
Yes,
God. Yes.
But did you find them by mistake? I mean, you were looking for pygmies, wasn't it correct, sir?
That was true, and I was. And I did stumble upon the Yumba Yumba tribe. God damn it, this is going to be hard. I'm going to take a drink.
Who were named ironically. He's like, it escapes me.
It escapes me. I'm quite
No,
parched.
he gives me,
He can't handle
he
it.
can't handle it, so he gives
So
it back
he
to
takes
me.
a drink and he's
And
quite
I lose
parched.
the coin.
And now it's Galen's turn to ask the brash Lord Cummings.
Yeah, the brash Lord.
Yes.
The brash Lord Cummings. I wish I read more of this.
Just pick one at random.
Pick one at random, bro.
They're all random.
Lord Cummings has many adventures, and he's been willing to share them with you for a price.
Indeed.
So, Lord Cummings, I actually heard about your recent adventures of mapping all of Australia. Please, tell us on how you went
It's a
about
desert
that.
wasteland, and I don't recommend anyone else take the same escapade. That, and I don't want anyone stealing my glory. That being said, I could not have done it without the excellent help of a Aborigine guide. They're a type of ape that it lives in Africa.
Intriguing. I'm racist, but intriguing.
Interesting. I heard that while you were down there, you were stung by an entire beach full of jellyfish, and that you had to solve it with some very strange means, good sir.
Yes. I was stung by the dreadful box jellyfish that infests the Australian coast, lethal to most men. But fortunately, due to the aid of my guide, I was taught a special tincture, which, well, it must enter your body, but you do not consume it orally, I am sad to say. That being said, with the help of this, though I did swallow
I heard the application of said tincture was applied in the most inappropriate of orifices. Is that correct?
That is correct. Nothing more needs to be said about the subject.
Very interesting.
However, I still blew up to the size of a balloon. However, there was a fortunate side effect, which is as I swelled, I was able to... actually, the details quite escape me. I'm going to have to take a drink to refresh my memory.
Oh, that's
Give that back to Joe.
oh,
It's easy.
joke.
It's hard when like a couple more coins start flying at you.
yeah,
Keep going.
You
Like,
lose
what
track.
was I
You
doing?
lose
Yeah.
track. You
And we
lose
should
track.
probably do a little bit more than the story before we jump in. It's very tempting to be
Don't
like,
have to. No, you don't have. I like it. I like that.
Yeah,
It's good
yeah.
to do it.
It
I
even
feel
says you
like.
don't have to. So.
well, no, it's like, yeah, I don't know.
No, hit him right away. That's what I say. Man.
right.
That makes it hard.
So that would be a typical round. We'll play back and forth for a few rounds.
Keep going. I got another one for fucking Kobold, who's the only one who's completed a tell as of yet. Oh, you did as well.
Thank you.
All right. All right.
Our general here did a great job of regaling us with his story.
I am curious, though, Lord Worthy, Dogworthy, I believe you said your name was? Worthy Dog? Something along those lines. Anyway, how exactly did you earn the hatred of every Freemason in Poland?
Oh, what?
Oh, I've heard that tale as well.
Did you know that the Polish are big fans of cheese?
I had not heard that.
Well, let me tell you. During my trip to Poland, I happened to find myself a beautiful young lady who happened to work in the churning vats. We had a very interesting night, and I happened to leave a bit of a mess within the churning vats themselves.
Is it a mess that represents the gentleman to your left's name?
Oh, yes, indeed, good sir. That
How
may be the
profane.
case. The point is that come the next morning, she happened to get caught in a difficult situation and told her father about it. And as they were the primary producers of cheese for the region, it caused quite a difficulty for the people, a shortage of cheese for a week because it was unsafe to consume. As she told me the previous night.
Now, forgive me, sir, I forgot my history, local otherwise, for some parts of Poland, but I thought the Freemasons there were notoriously allergic to cheese. It was part of the prerequisites for the organization.
Yes, indeed, you are correct about this. However, they do not eat the cheese. They enjoy the aroma of the cheese. Now, you may think, well, with my addition to the recipe, it wouldn't affect it. It wouldn't be dangerous to smell it. However, I have an overwhelming odor to myself. And the poor people were not happy with the way that their cheese smelled the next day. With this in mind, they chased me out of the country, and I have not been able to return since.
But I imagine they had no problems in doing so, given your great stench.
Yes. Well, I hear that there's still some cheese in that country that...
What I'm from refer to that as a manly odor.
Yes,
Yes.
manly
Of
odor.
musk, to be sure, yes. Nothing of the finest musk for the gentleman at this table.
Indeed. I would tell you more, but...
Lord Cummings, are you okay there?
seems to have...
A little red in the face.
same time.
Yes, we all make amateur mistakes once in a while.
With that story out of the way, I thought I'd pass it on to the general once again because the ire of the Freemasons of Poland aside, there are much more interesting things in my life and more importantly yours. I heard that you actually were invited by the group known as NASA to visit the moon and return with several specimens.
I do have a feeling that our compatriots in different time frames than the rest of us.
No, there's moon. I'm pretty sure moon's in there.
There was, yes. NASA. It's an esoteric organization filled with charts and Euclidean geometry and bubble helmets that prevents one from sucking in the lack of atmosphere. Yes, you think that the lack of atmosphere would cause suffocation. No, it's the poisons in the air. But anyways,
The moon is poisonous.
Yes.
That is very interesting.
so NASA, which is National Association of Science and Such, it is one word, and such, are based out of London, rather grand organization. They, having heard of my exploits elsewhere, thought of no better candidate to visit the moon, poisonous as they may be. So I rounded up my crew of haughty fellows, including my buxom bride who had married.
I was just about to ask. One does not leave
Nelly
their
with
wife
that. Good
behind.
job.
Well, of course, she's been my faithful companion everywhere. I've never met a better lover or fighter.
Now, this was several years after the previous story that you told, and I heard that your son passed away during this trip. He was not too old by this point, a ripe age of 12?
Yes, well, unfortunately, one of Mary's downfalls was her insistent looking after the lad. I believe he was breastfed until he was 11, and only had they just weaned him off her ample bosoms, we found it difficult to part with him from our proximity. So, Mary, being the lovely, lovely woman that she was, decided to bring a boy along, and alas, it's... sorry. I dare not go into details, but I do fear that the moon goblins got to him.
Moon goblins? Now,
Yes,
I have
vicious
not heard of
creatures.
these, however.
Nasty, full of teeth and maws and toenails. Dreadful.
Well, go ahead, good sir.
So, well, yes, we board the rocket ship, which is what it's called. It was made out of wood and oriental powder. And we
Such a strange name. You'd think it would be made of masonry of some sort.
would, but apparently the Masons were on strike during that time due to apparently unrelated cheese-based incidents. They did get most of the rocket ship components from Poland, I believe.
Yes, this was a few years
So
ago.
we blast off to the atmosphere. So far, so good. Straddling away, as Mary always does. And lo and behold, we crash onto the moon, and out comes the moon goblins. They are nasty beasts, as I so described. Our son, out of heroic sacrifice, charged them to immolate his father and mother. In doing so, they consumed him. But with such great rage did I beat down upon those moon goblins. And in doing so, I lifted up a chunk of the moon itself and hurled it at them. And in doing so, destroyed their entire being.
Interesting. Their entire civilization. Well done, well done.
And I floated back in the moon chunk to Earth, too. It's rather nice. You can see it in the museum today.
Well done.
It's very small. A lot of it burned up in the atmosphere.
Well, quite. Not
Thank you. Thank you.
quite a glorious tale. God rest his soul.
However, as great as that exploit may be, I fear that there's one man at the table who has greater exploits than I.
The general.
Yes. No, well, yes. Even a man as great as myself has his moments of humility, though rare they may be. Lord Olsen, because I can't remember his name.
Gustav.
Olstoff, yes. I heard a tale, and correct me if I'm wrong, good sir, but a man of your character, I believe it to be a sin if such a thing would be wrong, how you managed to woo both the Queen of France, the Duchess of England, and 15 harems in China, all in a single evening.
It's not a great tale like yours was with the moon, but I will tell it anyway.
Well, considering that you had to be in 17 places at once, I would consider it to be great
No, it wasn't
indeed.
17 places at once. It was 17 places, yes. But it was a very evening. Well, the Pope has gathered all the powers and many others of the world in order for a party. And in this party, there was wine shared and women wed during the time. I was at just such luck to be a part of this. There was so many beautiful, not just people, but just beautiful.
Including your beautiful wife, I've heard.
Oh, my wife. Yeah.
What was her
She
name
was a
again?
part of it
What was
too.
her name again, good sir? Come
It has
now.
forgotten me. She was a wife of 1 year, as the story will end in.
So you ended in divorce that evening.
Yes, of course. I believe her name was like Susan B. Anthony or something. I think that's what it was, the Anthony family.
Interesting.
And, well, what led to that divorce was the sleeping with and around with all these lovely ladies at this party in a house of God, mind you.
Which I'm very intrigued. I mean, forgive me for correcting you, sir, but I thought you were notorious enemies with the Pope at that time.
And I was.
So how did you manage to sneak in? You said you were invited.
I was invited through a guest invitation.
Oh, a plus one. I
Classic +1.
Yes.
And this is also the day that I humiliated him and ended his reign in one night.
And do pray so, sir. How did that come about?
Can you give me another? Now, during the festivities, he walked down in his dress.
It's a robe, good sir.
It's a dress for him, good sir. Now, he thought he was all important, and I saw when he walked down, our eyes met, and I knew I had to look like I was leaving. When I looked like it was, he nodded. When I looked back, we gave evil stares, and he started to wave to the people, but I ducked under cover, and I went into a hall. I waited for him to come down this hall. I knew he would. He had to use a bathroom eventually.
Wasn't it also true that the Pope in question only used the bathrooms on the Sabbath, and this party was on the Saturday before?
I must take a drink.
That's okay. Our throats can be very parched from time to time.
Yeah. Good job, Joe. You just kept hitting them. All right. I'm up. Lord Cummings is up next, apparently.
Hey, you got a lot of gold.
You can choose to give the... Okay, so quick rules question. Can you choose who to give the coin to? Could he give it straight back to you, technically, or how's that work? Because I feel like...
anybody can give it to him.
What's the back and forth thing that we're not doing?
So the back and forth thing. So...
Because he could have given the coin to you and given a coin to use, right?
Like...
No. I didn't do anything that
no, I'm talking
ruined
to
his
him.
story.
No. I'm talking to Joe. He's explained a rule we missed.
So he says,
have-
no, I think you're mistaken, so that's not true. Are you sure? Talking to, if I wanted to continue on, talking to the Queen of Duchess, who I know, or the Duchess of Dutchland, who I know very intimately, she assessed that that the Pope was notorious for only praying on the Sabbath.
So you give them a coin to opt out and be like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah,
but then you could give them a coin
to
and
double
they
down
can
and do
duel.
like an extra twist or something
Got
like
it.
that.
Then you can duel. Fair enough. All right. I have only... Well, I have 4 coins.
Go ahead.
I've had a couple drinks in me. What was your lordship again? I am so sorry.
We are.
The brash Lord Cummings.
Yes.
Brash Lord Cummings.
People are getting...
Of the Cumming family.
Of the Cumming family. I knew that sounded familiar. Now, is it true that you saved a man's life who died 50 years ago?
Well, yes. Now, for the full events of the story...
Now, like... Well,
No magic necessary. You just have to understand he was not actually deceased. Now, in Africa, there is a special herb which leaves people in a near catatonic state. Now, fortunately, due to my travels, I was acquainted with such a mixture, and when I saw the man, due to several various markers that one of my expertise could notice, I realized that all he needed was a antidote. He was not actually even dead. Now, to acquire said
sorry to interrupt, but I was under the impression that you had never been to the continent of Africa.
Well, I have never been there physically. But as I said, in my previous adventures to Australia, I had that ape guide, and they have a special ceremony there they call dream walking or sleepwalking or something, in which you can enter the astral plane and travel wherever you like. And it was in that way that I entered Africa and learned of the secrets of the deep African tribes. I believe they're called chimpanzees. Yes.
Again, interesting and racist. That one's for you.
Go on. You found him and you noticed that he needed the antidote.
Yes, indeed. Now, to acquire the antidote was no small task. To do so, I had to... I would have traveled to... I would have had to travel to Africa, but at that time I was still recovering from the box jellyfish incident.
Yes.
And so instead I had to found a merchant empire in order to send others there on my behalf to acquire said herbs.
Yes. What was the name of this group again? The merchant empire you founded?
Cummings Incorporated, I believe.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. I heard that they had a feud with the tribal lords of Africa, specifically Humbongo, the great black ape.
It's the 18th century. What do you want from me?
Not for a racist friend Eric to cream himself just by this being uttered into the atmosphere.
Now, I heard that he prevented any shipments from leaving Africa and coming into the possession of outside corporations at that time. Which is why you had to travel there in person in general.
That is quite true. Needless to say, much of that, once I got to Africa, I came down with a...
You never came to Africa, though, I heard.
No, I did. I eventually went, and I had, there were,
I was certain that you've never been to Africa, good
I'm
sir.
drinking. Just give me a second to get it out. I'm out. You got me.
And if you call it, no outright calling it large if you can, it boils down to a duel.
I was bit by some odd flea, and the rest of the tale escapes me as I spent my time in Africa in a fever dream. But when I arrived back in England, I had the herbs upon me, and the cure was just a simple tincture.
Yes. That sounds... What a great story, my good sir.
I unfortunately can't remember most of it, due to the fever.
Oh, that is a shame, because I've heard great tales of this one. Now,
I'm gonna take one out of the book. I'm 3/4 of a bottle of wine in. If you don't want, next time we'll have to be anthropologists instead of 18th century lords.
Well, that
if you want to
works.
keep people from being racist.
I believe lords were so bored.
Yeah.
Lords were so bored that
We
they
could keep the constant
studied
African
science for
people
fun.
equals apes, probably to a little minimum.
Well, no, but you have to
That was
remember,
his title,
in the
good sir.
18th century.
I know, yes.
no. Even... this was his title, not what he was now.
I am curious, Lord Worthy Dog.
Go on, you're drunk enough.
How exactly did your choice of cummerbund decide the Battle of Rhodes?
Cummerbund. I'm unfamiliar with this. Oh, I'm confused. What is a cummerbund?
Cummerbund's a fancy vest. You're thinking of a wig.
Oh, I'm thinking of the wig. You're right. It's a fancy vest.
Oh, So, what was the question? Because
How did your choice of cummerbund lead to your victory?
If your throat is dry, Kobold, where you're going to pour you a drink.
Yeah,
that's fine.
At the
Just-
Battle of Rhodes.
That tale. You see, I happened to spill wine on my cummerbund that I usually wear. Now, I was in an important battle that I was going to be taking part in, so I thought I must be dressed for the occasion. You know, with all of the rules of war that these Americans, by the way, that do not know, they do not respect these rules.
No.
Oh, can I just...
Savages,
I just
all
wanted
of
to
them.
take a moment.
Damn colonials.
Now, because I needed a new vest, I stopped by a shop, a tailor in town, the tailor was sleeping with the leader of the other side. It was a secret affair that I happened upon when, with my newcomer bun, within the pocket, I found a note. You see, she had found out that she was a mistress to this man, and that his wife was going to force them to stop sleeping with each other. So out of hate and spite, she gave me the plans of the enemy. And on that day, we rode to victory off of such a happenstance of thing. I honestly can't claim any true genius on my own part.
A gentleman to the end, by far.
Short and sweet. Yeah, I've got it done.
Now, such a simple tale is nothing compared to the exploits of our grand general here. Now, General
Von Hendrich the Third
General
Esquire.
Butch, if you'll allow
Or
me.
Butch, yes.
I had heard that you had traveled to the Grand Canyon in the United States, actually, and fought off an entire Apache. What word are they called nowadays?
War tribe.
War tribe.
Indian,
I believe
Redskin?
the proper the pack of wolves that live out in those parts. Let's put it that way. Now, I heard that they were great warriors, so I've wanted to hear the tale of how you managed to defeat them single-handed with your hand badly damaged, still from the previous incident that you told about earlier.
Well, as you gentlemen can quite see, my hand is never fully healed. It is about the size of a very large hamster, as it is. Hence why they call me Fat-Handed Butch. Some of the most roguish elements, though they do it with a bit of clamor and sort of a moderation, so it's fun in many ways, I suppose. So, single-handedly fighting off the whole Apache tribe. That is a tale. Well, you see, the Apaches are notorious fans of arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling?
Yes.
In fact, I heard that they are known to engage in arm wrestling while covered in oil, and that it's extremely slippery and difficult to hold on to.
It is, and I knew this ahead of time. You see, when we were surrounded by the Apache tribe, I
was under the impression that it was just you.
Well, wherever I go, Mary must follow. She is quite devoted to me, as you see.
Fair enough.
That and my normal cohorts and lackeys that must hear one of my great importance around you. Understand these things?
Understood.
Yeah, so surrounded our encampment, and having been a student of history and anthropology, I knew ahead of time that Apache warlords can never turn down an arm wrestling competition, and that they also slicken themselves with oil. So, me being the crafty man that I am, decided to challenge each and every one of them to an arm wrestling contest, and then set my hand on fire.
Oh, quite an interesting tale. However, I can't help but notice that your hand doesn't have burn marks on it.
Also, I heard, and correct me if I'm mistaken, but it was at that point that the shaman summoned a Wendigo, which is immune to fire, or some other such demon folkloric creature. How did you handle him?
Well, one at a time, gentlemen, one at a time. What was the first ripple in my story again?
Yeah. Your hand doesn't have any burns. Sure, it's swollen to the size of a small watermelon. However, it is certainly not burned.
I dipped it into wax.
Wax.
And what about the demon?
Well, let me continue. The wax, little known about the heredity of the butchers. We have notorious amounts of earwax. I happen to carry some with me.
The Native American demon. It's not a Wendigo. What is it?
It's a Wendigo. It's a cannibalistic spirit.
That's the cannibalistic thingy. There's a thing. They're in Deadlands. To go off topic for a second.
Oh, Manitou.
Manitou, yes, he summoned a Manitou.
It's a Manitou. Okay.
Manitou, yes. Continue.
Speaking of Wendigo, I have a mighty tale of one of those. However, that's for another
So
time.
with the copious amounts of earwax that I happen to have on my person, I managed to slather my arm, and our heredity earwax tends to be more impervious to fire than normal wax. And as far as the Wendigo goes... Manitou, forgive me, yes. I do have... struggle sometimes with these unchristian religions. They floor me in the eccentricities. Now, however, the Manitou was actually missummoned. See, the shaman, knowing that there was in the ranks and knowing furthermore that the Apaches are notorious at, well, what's a way of putting it? Sobriety. They do nothing but be sober.
I actually heard about this, the missummoning.
I'm going for fun
The
here.
shaman in question of the savage tribes is quite renowned. His name was, I believe, Wolftooth runs with wind. Point is that he is notorious for the fact that in this situation he missummoned the Wendigo and summoned a great fiery beast that tore apart the nearby town afterward and wasn't even taken down. It still roams that part of the land. What happened with that? How did you deal with this?
Well, why do you think the town ran down? I managed to have acquired from my channels of the Cherokee tribe an anti-Manito charm. So when the missummoning occurred, I merely brought out this sacred charm, deflected the bees, and unfortunately, It landed in the town of Too Much No Longer. A very apt name considering the time. I believe he still plagues the Grand Canyon to this day, a terrible tale, but having won the arm wrestling competition single-handedly and barehandedly, I figured that it was best that I and my loved ones get out while I still could, alive.
Truly riveting tale. Well done, good sir.
Now, to the lord on my right. I heard, as convoluted as that tale might be,
No, I can't.
I've heard an interesting tale where you managed to lift a curse from the ancient kings of Egypt while in ancient Egypt. As if the curse never occurred before. How did you manage such a terrific time-traveling feat? And is King Tutankhamun as fancy as we were led to believe?
I'm sorry, I've been drinking more than most. What?
Your time travel exploits, sir, in ancient Egypt. That rose the... that got rid of the curse of the 3 moons.
Fantastic story. The man who invented the lion contraption, he has brought me back with the same contraption. It was fantastic. Going through the stars and coming back at a time that is so primitive.
I've
and
always
then
been
becoming
curious.
cursed.
How exactly did the 50 hamster wheels factor into this mechanism?
For that, good sir, you have to ask him. He is beyond crazy and insane, but he is worth talking to.
You can't give me the details.
Of course, I'm not the man who invented the machine. I am just
But
the man
forgive me,
who
good sir,
rode in the
I
machine.
thought in Mr. Granter's great passing, I did read it in the papers recently, that he bequeathed all of his knowledge and schematics to his protege, namely you, good sir. And I figured one is so intimately
Oh, gosh, yeah, you're right.
that he bequeathed all his schematics and information to you, good sir, before his passing.
For
So
he
I-
has, and I, in great faith, wanted to keep secret because he has promised. But with such good friends amongst, I will let you in on it.
So,
The
30 hamster wheels.
50 hamster wheels, good sir. The 50 hamster wheels that go alongside in little cages of the plane. Sparks fly upon them. But the thing is, it's not just hamsters, it's sacrifices. They explode into fireballs. And coming back was hard because hamsters were not found in Egypt.
Yes, forgive me for my understanding, sir. I was understanding that,
Terrifying.
that the hamsters weren't even a species back in ancient Egypt if they weren't effectively born with the genetic code correct. How did you manage to find some hamsters back in time, considering they weren't around at all? They have yet to evolve according to that
Because
Darwin fellow.
Egyptians liked cats. And they were small enough to actually fit in the cages. And unfortunately, don't tell my wife, she is a cat person.
Well, that's
We
an
had
interesting
to
tale of that. However,
Smell a lot of burning hair that day.
having
It was
to do
very
with-
sad.
I had heard that Egyptian cats were hairless actually.
They were.
And isn't it true that the fur from the hamsters / cats is what makes the time travel possible?
It is true. It is true. Now, we had to have the cats because they were the only ones with the endurance to run on the wheels. But we had to shave the goats and skin them alive and wrap them around the cats, which was not easy feat if you know how when you piss off a cat. That's where I got these.
For those at home, he literally ripped off his shirt.
A horrific image. No question about that. Now, back to the curse. Now,
How exactly
Win.
did you
When I arrived in Egypt, there was a curse that plagued upon
The curse of the
many
3 moons,
the
yes.
3 moons, the many moons. And I had to explain to people I did not speak the language to, and they thought I was a beast and foul, so they chased me into one of the temples. I went in with me and the doctor. We went in the temples, and you only got one left. Went to the temples, and knowing of my vast knowledge, I was able to read some of the hieroglyphs that was on there. And it literally said, "Smash here in case of 3 moon fire."
What a truly magnificent
Very remarkable. Enter
Hello? Come in.
person.
It's probably Johnny.
Hey.
And with that, we have to actually end the game.
No, you can continue. I actually ran out of gold.
I'm out too. I think Galen wins it at the end. He that lasted us pretty good.
Oh,
Smash here in case of 3 moon curse. I like it.
and that is us playing the extraordinary adventures of Baron
Munchausen.
Munchausen.
For the very first time.
The very first time.
That's fucking difficult. That's actually really difficult once people start throwing shit at you.
Oh man, shotguns.
Yes.
You did really good there, Galen.
You did.
Nailed all of them.
Yes.
It takes me a little bit of time.
I love the smash in case of 3 moons. Goal.